throughout the presentation, preparing the data, where to store the data, I've kind of mentioned already the best practices that you could use. You always want to make sure that you're interoperable with other systems and all the different browsers and applications that are out there, that people can actually use your data. Doing some of the things that I've already mentioned will help with that. If you're using Arc server, make sure that you enable WMS so you're open. And there's different ways you can increase performance. If your service is really running slow, if the data behind that service gets edited a lot, and if it's inside an SDE database, you might want to think about compressing that database. It will make the data, it'll make the calls to the data run faster. If that still doesn't work, then you definitely probably want to think about tile caching that service. So here are just some general tips for map server. So be sure to fill out your server metadata. You speed up your services by setting those explicit extents, creating spatial indices, providing appropriate caches, and there's some other tips through this link. I don't know much about map server. Tanya Haddad helped me with this slide and the next one. But again, no matter what platform you're using, these are the basic concepts that you should use when sharing your data. Filling out the contextual information, for GeoServer disabling anything that is not being used, and creating those spatial indices on the data ahead of time before you publish. For Arc server, I mentioned compressing the database already. Enable WMS to make sure you're OGC compliant. And there's another trick that I learned at Esri where you can set the min-max instances to equal to the number of servers when you're in the server interface publishing your server's services. That tends to speed up when you have lots of users calling the service. It spreads the calls across the different servers so the data can be called by the clients quicker. So I do know a little bit about ArcGIS Online, and through that cloud service, you can publish data two ways, through feature services or tile services. The one thing that you definitely want to watch out for is the use of your credits. You can find their calculator at that link, and basically you can type in all your information about your data, and it will give you an estimate of how much credits it will use up when you're publishing your data through ArcGIS Online. You definitely save credits if you're creating a tile service. If you create the tiles on your desktop, when you go to File, Share As in ArcMap, you can actually create the tile package on your desktop and then share that on arcgis.com rather than publishing directly and creating your tile cache through there.